Welcome back to another TGG Valorant Lore story. In today's video, we're covering the dossier merchant herself and the newest agent in the game, Fade. Fade is one of the most interesting agents in Valorant, and here we'll tell you exactly why, with her full and complete lore story. Make sure to like the video if you haven't already, subscribe, and comment on what lore story you want to see next. If you want to see other agents' lore stories, we already have many of their lore stories on our channel too. Before jumping into Fade's lore story, we quickly need to give you a basic Valorant lore lesson. In the year 2039, there was an event known as the First Light. This event caused our favorite agents and gear to get super cool powers, such as Phoenix and his flames, and Sage and her healing. On Alpha Earth, we have Kingdom Corporation, who quickly managed to control most of the world's radionite, and use it to power the world and perform experiments. This is where it gets cool. There is also another Earth, known as the Mirror Earth or the Omega Earth, that runs parallel, with the only difference being their sparse amount of radionite. The Mirror Earth agents come to the main Earth and try to steal radionite by planting the spike and teleporting it back to their Earth. The Alpha Earth created the Valorant Protocol to try and prevent this from happening. That is all you need to know so far. Back into Fade's lore story. So Fade comes from Turkey, which, when she was released in Episode 4 Act 3, was made very clear by Riot Games. They've implemented Turkish culture and representation into Fade, with the use of Turkish slang in her voice lines, as well as the teaser for Fade having her drinking a Turkish beverage. Fade was considered one of the biggest threats of all by the Valorant Protocol. This is because Fade is looking for someone. Who and where they are is currently unknown, but originally it was speculated that the Valorant Protocol had them held prisoner. All we know is that he is a man. This is why Fade released agent dossiers on every agent in the Valorant Protocol, releasing a huge amount of information, some of which was unknown to players, such as Cypher's real name. This was a genius way for Riot Games to give the Valorant community some extra lore for every agent without having to create a load more backstory. The Valorant Protocol put everything on hold to track down Fade in Istanbul. The team that was sent was Neon, Breach, Cypher, Sova, Chamber, and KO. While she nearly escaped using her powers, KO was able to suppress her. Fade was subsequently brought back to the Valorant Protocol base and questioned. We found this out in Fade's cinematic trailer, as well as more detail from a voice recording in The Range. Here's where the whole dynamic flipped. Fade learned that the Valorant Protocol actually had nothing to do with the man she searched for and his disappearance. Fade was enlightened about the existence of the Mirror Earth, and with the help of the Valorant Protocol, she began to speculate that maybe an organization from another Earth was to blame. Cypher is the most empathetic with Fade, as he too is looking to protect the ones he loves. Although Cypher's close ones are family, and we do not know the relationship between Fade and this man, we can assume his importance is unparalleled due to the lengths Fade went to. Although it is yet to be confirmed, this seems to be accepted by the Valorant community. The Valorant Protocol then invited Fade to join them as Agent 20, and with their grievances resolved and put behind them, Fade accepted. Fade's powers actually have lore of their own too, with Fade referring to them as the Nightmare. This is an interesting piece of lore to build off of, as it implies that Fade's abilities are separate from Fade herself. There is proof of this in Fade's Agent Contract Player card, which has Fade being stalked or followed by some shadows. A Fade voice line builds on this too, when deafening an enemy. Fade says, what does this mean for Fade? How much control does she actually have over the Nightmare? Maybe the Nightmare actually has something to do with the man she searches for. The last thing to ask is what is next for Fade in Valorant? Here at TheGlobalGaming, we're incredibly excited to see what Fade's, or Nightmare's, next move is. With any luck, Riot Games will give us some more awesome Fade lore soon, even just a teaser. Make sure to like the video and subscribe if you haven't already. Hopefully you enjoyed and let us know what you think happened to Fade's mysterious man in the comments down below. What's next for Fade in the Valorant lore and story? Riot Games still has a lot of stories for Fade's lore. As the game progresses, we can expect to see Fade's struggles in her searches for the person. But until then, you should visit the Valorant Lore Hub for related articles about Valorant's lore.